First person I want to look at is Hannah, or Hannah. In English, it's Hannah. Okay? And for those of you who don't remember, Hannah was the mother of the, how can I say this, judge, priest, and prophet Samuel. And he was the guy that wrote probably the last part of the book of Judges, or last part of the book of Joshua, Judges, and the first 20-some chapters of 1 Samuel. Of course, he wouldn't have written about his own death in 1 Samuel, but he was probably writing most of that material. And his mom was sterile. And if you look at 1 Samuel 1, the book that's named after him, 1 Samuel chapter 1, you're going to see somebody who is really desperate. In the culture at that time, a woman was considered blessed if she could have children. A woman was blessed if she could have children. And a woman was considered cursed if she couldn't. And so, you look at 1 Samuel 1, and it starts out, there was a guy who would have to be Samuel's father. His name, I think, was Elkanah, yeah. And he had a couple of wives. The first one was Hannah, and the second one was Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, Hannah had no children. Skipping over verse 6, these two wives were rivals. It said her rival would provoke her bitterly to irritate her because the Lord had closed her womb. So Peninnah, the one that was having children, provoked Hannah until she was just crying and weeping. And it happened year after year. She went up to the house of the Lord, that this woman would provoke Hannah so that Hannah wept to the point where she would not eat. Skipping down to verse 9. There was one time she went eating, drinking in the place where she was going to be offering her offerings, which is called Shiloh. And said Eli the priest was there, and she was greatly distressed. But there's another note which says she was bitter of soul, just in anguish. And you skip over to verse 15. Hannah was talking with a priest saying, I'm not drunk, but I haven't drunk, but I am pouring out my soul before the Lord. Verse 16. Don't consider me as a worthless woman. I have spoken out of my great concern and provocation. Okay? I am being provoked. I am desperate. And so Eli said, go in peace and may God answer your prayer. And later, God answered her prayer. And if you go all the way to chapter 2, I'm not going to go there, she later had 5 other children.